How is everyone this beautiful Valentine's Day? The zookeeper chirped into her headset. The surprisingly large crowd gathered around the black bear exhibit responded with cheers and applause, not terribly loud, given that this was a zoo, but enough to convey that people were quite happy to be here. It was a crisp but comfortable day, especially for mid-February. All I'd had to wear was a leather jacket over my t-shirt, and since such a nice day had fallen on a Saturday, that probably explained why there was a decent crowd. A couple dozen kids who must have been 6 or 7 were gathered by the zookeeper at the fence in front of the viewing area, while the adults, probably 50 of us if I had to guess, stood behind them. Beyond the fence was a deep moat, and on the other side an elaborate habitat in which 3 black bears kept a close eye on a door off to my right, and about 8 feet off the ground. I suspected that was where the food was going to come from. The zookeeper launched into a speech about how bears would normally be hibernating this time of year, but since they have food available year-round, the ones in zoos often don't. Then there was something about how their diets were closely monitored to keep them from getting too fat. That was apparently an issue with non-hibernating captive bears. There was also a bit about how these 3 couldn't be released back into the wild for various reasons, so there was less concern about them getting used to being fed by humans. Something. I don't know. I wasn't listening too closely. Mostly I was watching the bears and sort of chuckling to myself about why I was even here. I mean, I loved animals, fucking adored them. Coming to the zoo on a Saturday morning wasn't exactly out of the ordinary for me, but I usually avoided special events because while I loved animals, I wasn't fond of crowds. Today was an exception. As the zookeeper kept talking at length, I empathized with the bears, who were clearly getting impatient. They had to know there was food coming. I was itching for them to get fed too. God, I can't wait to watch them tear that one fish to pieces. I had to bite back a laugh. It was so petty and vindictive and ridiculous, but as soon as I'd seen the ad, I hadn't been able to resist because it just sounded so deliciously satisfying. And the money went to help maintain the bear's habitat, so it was for a good cause. That made it a little less petty, right? Hell, who cared? Finally, the zookeeper was done talking, and she announced that it was time to get started. In the habitat, the door the bears had been watching slid open. Another zookeeper poked his head out, and he grinned as the bears gathered below. I kind of envied him right then. How cool would that be, getting paid to toss food to bears? And then he waved at them, and all 3 waved their giant paws back at him, and I nearly died of jealousy. I am seriously in the wrong line of work. Okay, Jeremy, the zookeeper near us called out. Who are our first 3 fish? Jeremy hoisted a bucket onto the ledge, and he withdrew the first of 3 good-sized salmon. As he tossed a fish to each bear, he called out, Here we have Charlie, Shannon, and, no name, but you know what you did, you cheating jerk. That last one sent a ripple of laughter through the crowd. Immediately the bears tore into their fish, and a woman called out, Ha! That's what you get, Charlie! Everyone chuckled. Then Jeremy put another bucket in the window, immediately grabbing the attention of the bears. One continued chewing, a tail sticking out of his mouth, but he focused intently on Jeremy as he waited for the next snack. Okay, Jeremy said. Now we have that. Oh, I can't read all of that with kids here. And there's no actual name, but I'm pretty sure their ex also bought them a cockroach to feed the meerkats, so... He dropped the fish as everyone laughed, and while I had no idea what the person's ex had done, it was definitely satisfying to watch the fish get ripped to shreds in their honor. Jeremy then dangled 2 salmon and said, I don't know if this is a coincidence, a mistake, or if someone was mad enough to buy 2 fish in this guy's honor, but here's Kevin. He tossed a fish. And Kevin. In the same moment I shouted out my glee at watching my ex get eaten in finned effigy, another male voice went up. Suck it, Kevin! Probably not appropriate with kids around, but whatever. Everyone laughed, and I looked around to see if I could pick the guy out of the crowd. Apparently he was doing the same thing because we locked eyes and both shared a grin and a nod.